The newly appointed Minister for Social Services and Urban Development on a first official visit to Grand Bahama.
Coming up in the news tonight, newly elected local government officials officially sworn in here in West Grand Bahama. I'm Joan Davis-Rose. Stay tuned for that story.
Copper thieves strike again, resulting in some challenges for officials of a leading telecommunications giant.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news this evening, 2 leading government agencies are now poised for further advancement as the Minister of Social Services and Urban Development makes her inaugural visit to Grand Bahama. The minister, with a full day touring agencies within her portfolio, paying a courtesy call at the office of the Prime Minister, and then meeting with the press to provide a complete overview of her findings. Our Megan Shepherd covered the minister's official visit and filed this report.
Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, the Honorable Anisha Roll, on island for the first time since her appointment as a cabinet minister. Minister Roll toured the Social Services headquarters Thursday morning and held meetings with heads of departments and staff members employed with that government agency. Minister Roll says that the tour was an opportunity to see the current state of that department, what is being done, and to map out plans to further strengthen the overall operations.
Our priority is to serve those with the greatest needs and to see that they obtain the greatest assistance. And so in the vision of this government, we have found that it was prudent to marry the work of social services together with the work of urban renewal to bring about a more effective service to the Bahamian people moving forward within the next 5 years to meet the objectives of this government, and that is to put the people of the Bahamas first, and for them to feel and know that it is their time.
Then it was on to the office of the Prime Minister, where Roll paid a courtesy call on the Minister of State for Grand Bahama in the office of the Prime Minister, Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson. Thompson noting once again that Urban Renewal Grand Bahama will no longer fall under the Ministry for Grand Bahama, but rather the Ministry of Social Services. He says he believes Grand Bahamians will receive greater benefits as a result of this change.
We believe that Urban Renewal Grand Bahama should be together with Urban Renewal Bahamas. It should have one head, one purpose, one goal, and we are happy that all of the national programs that will be coming on stream for urban renewal, that Grand Bahama will be a part of the national program for urban renewal.
Minister Thompson also addressed jobs within Urban Renewal Grand Bahama.
The contracts which were under the former Ministry of Grand Bahama, the contracts which involve those persons who worked for urban renewal, that those contracts will come to an end at the 30th of June. The availability of those jobs for urban renewal will no longer be under the Office of the Prime Minister Grand Bahama, but those positions now will be available under the General Urban Renewal for the Bahamas, which is now under the Ministry of Social Services.
Both ministers emphasized that the social welfare of Grand Bahamians remain a top priority for this administration. Megan Shepherd, ZNS Network News.
In other news, a call for exemplary service and community empowerment was made today as the newest group of local government representatives from the West Grand Bahama District were sworn in. Joan Davis-Roll reports.
A new day for local government in West Grand Bahama as officials turned out Thursday morning to be sworn in to office.
They represent the latest group of newly elected local government officials, community leaders from not one, not two, but 3 townships. all elected by the people to serve the needs of the people as they took the official oath of office. Some swearing, others affirming, as they've been entrusted by the electorate to conduct the people's business. From the West End Township, Warren Saunders, Constance Hanna, Carolyn Ferguson, Morton Wolshcombe, Mauvia Hanna, Brenda Hanna Cooper, Kellen Barr Smith, and Marvin McQueen. The 8 Maroc Township, John Stewart, George Smith, Denise Russell, Karen Leedon, Jerron Harvey, Tyrone Kemp, Tad Matten, Alexander Roll, and Kevin Moss. From the Pindus Point Township, Jacqueline Russell, Alexio Forbes, Devin Russell, Adrian Simmons, and Lowell Pinder. As a prelude to the official formalities, Island Administrator for West Grand Bahama, Brenda Colbrook, in a candid address, challenged local government officials to remain true to the job they've been elected to do.
After you would have taken your vote to go out and to do that which is necessary to upbuild, to uplift, and better the lives of those persons who would have elected you. You have a responsibility to serve one and all. There is no personal gain in local government. We should not seek any personal gain in local government.
Colbrook also told councillors to know their roles.
You will be required to work as a part of a district. You don't operate in and of yourself. You will be required to work with an administrator. The administrator is not your personal secretary. The administrator is not there to do your bidding, but to ensure that you follow the prescribed rules and regulations that have been set down for the various town committees and their function.
There was one issue which Administrator Colbrook moved to address.
West End and Pindus Point, we will not be able to proceed any further because we do have runoff elections in those areas. As a result of that, we will not be able to proceed with the election of the chief councillor and the deputy chief councillor.
With that said, councillors for the 8 Maroc West Township went into the administrator's office to select a chief councillor. Within minutes they returned and this announcement was made.
The chairperson for the 2017-2020 term of local government will be Mr. Kevin Morris. Serving as his deputy will be Mrs. Karen Leedon. And the person representing the town committee at the council level, along with the chairman, will be Mr. Jerron Harvey.
John Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
The island of Bimini also holding a swearing-in ceremony for newly elected local government officials. Sworn in today by Island Administrator Oscar Monroe were Lloyd Edgecombe, Robbie Smith, Glenrick Roll, Lyndon Pinder, Indira Russell, Montez Saunders, Joman Jones, Samika Comer, and Triska Roll. Selected as chief councillor was no stranger to that post, Robbie Smith, while Indira Russell will serve as deputy chief councillor. Meanwhile, residents here on Grand Bahama are weighing in on the low voter turnout during the recent local government election held on June 22nd and whether or not they believe the purpose of local government is being taken seriously. With over 25,000 residents on Grand Bahama who are eligible to vote in the recent local government elections, parliamentary registration records reveal that just over 8,000 took part in this recent democratic process. This despite the fact that a record 117 persons nominated as candidates. As swearing-in ceremonies for new local government officials took place throughout the Family Islands, Grand Bahamians are weighing in on its relevance and the significance of local government.
Talking to persons, they didn't even know who was running in their area. And some people didn't even know where they were supposed to go and vote. And so a lot of persons, they were not too interested.
I was one of those who wasn't going to go out to vote. And then one of the candidates called me last minute, and I went and I voted for that group. And of course, I didn't make it, but I did go and I voted for them because I personally can say I wasn't interested anymore. And
I supported local government because I had a family relative in the race, and so I had no other choice. but to support it. I believe local government has the opportunity to make a great impact within our community, but I was very disappointed over the candidates because I believe a lot of them ran for wrong reasons and for wrong motives.
Our news team received mixed reviews of the effectiveness of local government over the past few years.
I am pleased with the work that I've seen them throughout the years done around Freeport. But then again, separate apart from that, there's all the squabbling and people just tired.
In spite of its ups and downs with its chief councillors, local government has made a serious impact within our community. The constructions of parks, the maintenance of certain areas. I'm very impressed personally with the West Grand Bahama district and the accomplishments that they have made.
Citizens like myself will actually go and complain, take complaints to them to point out what's wrong. They still didn't do anything about it. So people figure, well, you're not going to do anything about it. Why should I bother myself to go out and vote for you?
But some say with the recent general election, residents may have just been burnt out and simply not interested in voting.
It was anticlimactic to the general elections. So there's so much focus on general elections and the national and international leaders that they don't really focus on what's going on locally.
We've had in the past several years at least about four times we had to go to the polls to vote, and it just coming out of a general election and being a heated general election, I believe the people just tired.
Nonetheless, residents believe that these newly elected officers should be given a fair chance to make a difference in their communities. Well, the Bahamas Telecommunications company has been struck by culprits, and the police has launched an intensive investigation into the matter. Italia Hall reports tonight that a reward is being offered for information leading to the arrest of those responsible.
Carpet thieves have struck once again at the leading telecommunication company here on Grand Bahama, negatively impacting some aspects of their operations. Vice President of the Northern Bahamas, Eldry Ferguson Mackey, says at 1 a.m. Thursday morning she received reports that 600 feet of fiber optic cable was cut and stolen from the southern district of the island. She says this will affect some 70-plus customers.
It's also causing our wireless service in the Lewis Yard, Hawksbill area, so the services in that area is impacted. We're also impacting customers in the Pindus Point area, so we have a business, we have our BTC franchise store that just opened. They're not going to be able to service customers this morning. We also have Chances, another business in the area, in the immediate vicinity, that's also going to be impacted because of the cable cut.
BTC's field services employee Adrian Allen, along with Ferguson Mackey, say this incident will cost the company in many ways.
What's going to happen now is we've had our teams previously engaged to conduct other work and service customers that were scheduled and ready to receive service today. And what we're going to have to do is take those guys, move them from their designated areas, come and deal with this emergency issue, and so I'm going to disadvantage customers, and I'm also going to have some real costs as it relates to replacing the fiber, getting the services back up, and then there's also costs to businesses that are going to be out of services.
Just to get the guys, put this cable up, is going to take about another 2 hours, and then after that, my part of the work, just restoring services, is going to be another probably 4 hours after that.
Now, Ferguson Mackey says BTC has been a victim of this crime 2 times in the last 4 days. She says BTC is now offering a reward for anyone who provides a tip.
We'd like the assistance of the public. Please call. You can call in on our BTC line, CALL BTC, or you can call the police directly, and anyone that gives the police tip, that will lead to the capture and actually capture of the individuals that's doing this. We want to make sure that we offer them a reward, because it sets the business back. It's a cost, and we don't want to have to transfer costs to customers, and it's an inconvenience to customers as well.
Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us, there's more news right after this.